Hello everyone, my name is Gabby, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super review, this time reviewing episode 98. Goku faces off against the Trio de Danger from Universe 9, who utilize teamwork against him. As Goku struggles to gain the upper hand, Vegeta steps in to help. Universe 9's Kaioshin tells the rest of Universe 9 to attack them together at once, but to no avail. Waiting for the right moment, Goku and Vegeta together manage to take down all the remaining members of Universe 9. And with all of its contestants gone, Universe 9 is quickly erased by the Zeno. So, what did I like about this episode? Well, first of all, I did enjoy the way that the way that both sides utilized teamwork in this episode. First, there was the Trio de Danger, the three wolves, who together as brothers actually have sort of combination moves that we obviously didn't see in the Zen exhibition match because that was one-on-one. This was a free-for-all. We got to see their sort of triangle de Danger or whatever it was called, where they sort of enclose the enemy so they don't have any time to counterattack or move. And then we had Goku and Vegeta actually at least kind of sort of working together. Like, they did use teamwork to sort of counter the Trio de Danger, in that their technique only worked as long as nobody was attacking the wolves basically from the back, and that's kind of what they did. This entire arc, almost all the cast members have been kind of yelling at us, teamwork, 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 but we never really got to see what the actual advantages of teamwork were until this episode. And here, we can clearly see how teamwork actually goes and helps you win a battle, so I think that was fun, and I do hope that we get to see more of it. There was also some fun, nice little messages about sort of like controlling the tide of a battle and sort of using the one brief moment when your opponent slips up to try and get the upper hand, which both Universe 9 and Goku and Vegeta sort of used to their advantage in this episode. I thought this was a nice idea. I thought this was a nice kind of strategy. So we've had kind of two things this episode. We had some nice teamwork and some nice strategy. Some things I didn't know if they were actually going to implement well in this tournament, and they actually did this episode. They implemented them, I think, pretty well. Also, can I just say that I'm so glad that Universe 9 were the first people to go? Not because I don't like Universe 9 or because I think they weren't very good characters, honestly kind of the opposite. Throughout the Zen exhibition match and the sort of recruitment episodes that happened before this tournament, the fact is we've kind of learned quite a bit about Universe 9. We know that they're the universe with the lowest quality of mortal life, and the past few dozen episodes have been kind of explaining that to us in sort of subtle ways, through stuff like them having difficulties recruiting members for the tournament, and even stuff like the gods for Universe 9 being so kind of shocked by just how evil Frieza was. If you combine all that with the outcome of the Zen exhibition match, it altogether kind of just sends the idea and the overlying theme that Universe 9 in general are kind of pathetic. And that makes them sympathetic. It feels like the only reason why that universe is the way it was really not because of any sort of grand underlying plan or because someone was really evil, but just because the Kaioshin and the Hakaioshin were kind of just not the best at their job. And that's kind of a very sort of down-to-earth, grounded sort of failure. They're bad at their job. It's not because they're evil or they just wanted to sabotage things. They're just not very good at being gods of destruction and gods of creation. And it's not like that's the contestants in Universe 9's fault either. The Trio de Danger seem kind of aware of the fact that their universe is kind of really crappy in terms of the kind of people that are living there, and they kind of say that they all sort of work together to try and sort of combat against that. It makes you feel like these people in Universe 9 aren't evil. Even if they're from the lowest quality of mortal life, they still actually legitimately care for one another. And it does make you at the very least kind of relate to them and sort of root for them. You don't really want anyone to be erased, but especially not these guys who are honestly kind of trying the hardest they can despite being pretty outmatched and pretty incompetent. So it means that when Universe 9 does get eliminated and erased from existence, you kind of can't help but feel sorry for them and almost kind of wish that they weren't erased in the first place. You kind of almost want them back, and you sort of really understand the implications, the really horrifying implications of what this tournament is. Plus, it didn't even feel like a waste to have some of these contestants be erased from existence so quickly and so early from the tournament, because at the very least we did get to see, out of Universe 9, we got to see most of those contestants' gimmicks. Like, the Trio de Danger, we already knew their gimmicks, and then we also got to see some other characters. One of them had a very hard body, one of them could shoot ice, one of them had string that could tie people up. They all got erased this episode, but I also feel like I can at least understand what most of the characters actually did, so it doesn't feel like it's a wasted opportunity. As for what I didn't like about this episode, well, it's really just one kind of question, which honestly I've been thinking about all of Super, but here it really particularly got in my mind, and that was, so what's the point of gold-haired Super Saiyan anymore. This episode, they implied that Goku wasn't going to go Super Saiyan Blue unless he absolutely needed to because it would drain a lot of stamina. But he seemed to have no issue going regular gold-haired Super Saiyan to try and deal with some of the threats. They're sort of setting the implication that gold-haired Super Saiyan is an important form because it's more powerful than his base form, but it's not as draining as Super Saiyan Blue. And the issue I have with that is, well, first of all, it's because they kind of still haven't really straight flat out said that to the audience. And second of all, it feels a little strange to me that now that they kind of have a form that they use regularly that isn't defined by what it is and what it can do, but by what it isn't. It's something that's kind of contributed to having everything in Dragon Ball Super, at least in terms of opponents' powers, feel very kind of floaty. Like, I can never really get a grasp on what's going on because it always feels like somebody is holding back immensely, but because we don't really know what all these forms really mean, I don't really know how much they're holding back and why, and whether that's actually important. I mean, throughout Dragon Ball Super, Goku used regular Super Saiyan to fight Frost, but then against Hit, because he wanted to save stamina, he instead started fighting in his base form. And then against Zamasu, he fought with Super Saiyan 2. There's a reason, I think, as to why the original series didn't really try doing this sort of pick and choose your forms and just kind of defaulted to the strongest one. And that's because with it, everything starts getting far more confusing. It's way harder to understand exactly what's going on, even in something as simple as a tournament setting, when characters are cycling through forms like they're just a different coloured shirt, but we don't know exactly what the colours mean and how important the colours actually are. Perhaps this was all Toei's intention from the very start, that they've been trying to make the sort of powers in different forms, everything kind of intentionally vague so we don't know who's necessarily going to win a fight when the fight actually starts. To which I say, alright then, Toei, congratulations, you have made me confused. I don't necessarily think that's a good thing. Call me insane, but I'd rather actually know what's going on in my story rather than just kind of feeling really lost and waiting for a line of exposition to desperately tell me what exactly just happened. So, as for next episode, well, that's one universe down, but there are still 6 more universes that somebody needs to eliminate before there's a winner. And next episode, well, obviously there's going to be more fighting, but it also looks like it's going to be Krillin's chance to shine. Or maybe not. Depending on stuff in the spoilers, things seem to be kind of interesting and might not be going exactly the way you expect it. I am really interested, and I'm also especially interested to see exactly how everyone else is going to react to the fact that Universe 9 got erased, because we never really got to see that this episode. That's probably going to happen next episode. I do hope that people at least show some kind of concern or shock or fear over what happened, because obviously hearing that you're going to be erased is different to actually seeing somebody get erased in front of your own eyes. So that was Dragon Ball Super episode 98. I mean, honestly, it was an episode that did exactly what I thought it did, and it didn't really do anything more. On the one hand, that's a little bit disappointing because I was always expecting the kind of erase of Universe 9 and the defeat of Universe 9 to be played up a bit more for drama during the actual episode they got erased themselves. But on the other hand, I am at least happy that they did do something that I did kind of want them to do, and that is that they essentially humanized the losing universes. The people who are getting erased here are not villains, they're not evil, they're just people like us. There are fighters like, at least like the characters in Universe 7, and this tournament isn't just fun and games and strong fighters. People are dying right in front of our eyes, and I don't know exactly how dark they want to play that up for, but at the very least they played it this episode to the point that I am kind of legitimately, I feel sorry for Universe 9. I kind of miss them. Those poor wolf guys in the fairy universe, like, you didn't deserve to die. Nobody deserved to die. And I do wonder how long this kind of tone is going to be kept up, even if that tone is just kind of unintentional. So this is Gabby, signing out, and I'll see you all next week. Bye guys!